Hi, my name is Maria Fernanda Cibaja Morales, and I'm going to tell a story called A College Romance. On a normal day, Amirani was at the bus stop when someone arrived and said to her, "Hi." After that, he said to Amirani if he could sit next to her, and she said to him, "Yes, of course." He started talking with her, but for Amirani, that situation was odd. Yet, she started talking with him. The boy asked her if she studies in the WAPHOM, and Amirani told to him that yes, she studies in the WAPHOM. The conversation between them flowed so good, so the boy asked her for her Instagram user, and a few minutes later he started to follow her, and days later he typed to Amirani on Instagram, but she didn't remember him, so didn't reply him. One day, the boy replied to Amirani an Instagram story and said her that he was the boy that asked her Instagram in the bus stop, so she remembered him. He continued to reply to her Instagram stories, telling her how pretty she looked, and they started talking on Instagram. All was flowing so good. One day, the boy sent flowers to her school, and Amirani was so happy about that. But she didn't know that he had also written her a letter, and he sent it with the flowers. She didn't see it until he sent a message telling her about it, and when saw it, she felt so fortunate. For Amirani, it all seemed like a dream. After soon, the boy invited her on a date. But Amirani said to him that she couldn't go that day because she had already made plans with her friends and couldn't call her. So he said to Amirani that it was okay and invited her to a date in another day. The date came and Amirani was so excited but also so nervous. The boy picked her up at home and took her to a nice cafeteria. All date was so cool. And on the same date, the boy gave flowers to Amirani and took her back home. After a few dates, Amirani started to like the boy, and some months later, the boy asked her if he could be her boyfriend. He prepared a special date with flowers and everything for Amirani would feel like in a fantasy. Obviously, Amirani said yes. On one of the dates, the boy invited Amirani to paint and surprised her with his paint because he had made a small portrait of them. When she saw that, she wanted to cry. The boy was already an important part of her life, and it had happened so fast. The boy always makes Amirani feel so good being with him. He gives flowers even if it isn't special dates, and takes her to cool cafeterias because he knows that Amirani loves coffee. So Amirani has a great relationship with him. With the pass of the time, Amirani fell in love with him and he with her. Years later, they finished their marriages and went frequent trips. On one of the trips, they went to the beach, and he prepared a surprise for Amirani. Amirani was very surprised to see the beach empty, with only a table and two chairs, surrounded by flowers and candles. They began to have dinner and talk. He reminded her how they had met, and her face lit up at the memory. At that moment, he took out a box from his pocket, knelt down, and asked Amirani to marry him. Amirani cried with happiness, and a couple of months later, they were married. This was the story of a college romance, which ended up being a lifelong love.